Hello, good evening, and welcome to Become a Better Man. My name is Tunde Disu. Thank you for taking the time out to be part of tonight's program. Tonight, we are continuing with the series that we have been doing for the past 2 weeks. This is our third week of looking at the importance of apologies, of saying sorry, of how to receive it, how to give it, when not to receive it, and what the meaning of apology is, and all the other things that we've said about being sorry, saying sorry, and all of that. But tonight we are going to be specifically looking at how to respond and how to accept an apology, how to respond to an apology when it's given, and how to accept it when somebody is apologizing, because sometimes the effect or the importance of the apology, the importance of or the weight of the apology is lost in not being able to receive it, not being able to accept it, not just because the person giving the apology hasn't done the right thing. Sometimes it's the inability to receive it, the inability to accept it, the inability the lack of the grace to receive an apology sometimes is the reason why it doesn't do what it is meant to do, or the effect of it is lost in the process. So tonight, that is what we're going to be looking at. Because it is one thing for somebody to apologize. It is one thing for somebody to say, I am sorry, and they mean it sincerely. It is one thing for somebody to be humble enough to come to you and apologize for something they've done or something they've said, or anything, for whatever reason. But you see, it's like the law, in the law of contract, there is the offer and the acceptance. Until your offer is accepted, no contract is established. It is the same thing when it comes to this area of apology, of saying sorry. It is one thing for somebody to say, I'm sorry, I did that wrong, I said that wrong, I shouldn't have said that, I should have known better. But it is a different ball game for you to receive that, for you to accept that. And so tonight, that's what we're going to be looking at. How to receive it, how to accept it, because sometimes you can receive an apology and still not accept it. Sometimes you can think, yes, I've heard what you say, but I'm still not satisfied. And so we're going to go through all of that tonight. But we're going to start by looking at the fact that for there to be an avenue, for there to be a platform where somebody has offended the other party to the point of wanting to make things right and apologize, there must have been a relationship. There must have been a form of relationship that's been established between the two of them. Now, when I say relationship, I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. I'm talking about relationship which it could include your relationship with your neighbor, with your friends, with your parents, with your colleague at work, with your boss, with your children, with your in-laws and outlaws. Whenever two people or group of people are together in a communal existence, there is a relationship going on. And when you look at every relationship which is made up of people, there is the room that there will be instances where we will cross each other, where we'll offend each other, because none of us are perfect. Every relationship is made up of imperfect human beings. So every now and again we're going to let each other down. Every now and again we're going to step on each other's toes. And so relationship is a breeding ground for offense, for disagreement, for somebody to hurt you, to disappoint you. But once that is established, once that is on the ground, the next natural step is for one of the parties to recognize, to realize, to accept that I've done something wrong, I've said something wrong, I shouldn't have, I should know better, or whatever it is. And the follow-up from that acknowledgement is for them to apologize. It's for them to be humble enough to say, you know what, that was wrong of me. I'm sorry, I did that wrong. I said that wrong. That came out the wrong way. But one thing you must know, one thing we all need to know is that a true heartfelt apology is tough. It's tough on the person giving it. It's tough on the person offering the apology, offering the sorry, saying I was wrong, because number one, it's an admission of the fact that you've done something wrong. It's an admission that you've crossed a line that requires a repair to be made. It requires an inward looking. It requires you to think and ponder and consider the importance of the relationship in which this has happened. And the weight of that relationship will determine how you respond, how you apologize, how the weight of your sorry is determined by your concept, your understanding of the value of that relationship to you. So when somebody comes to you to say, I'm sorry, when somebody comes to you to apologize, it's a work. It's a big deal, not just for you that is being apologized to, but for the person that is offering the apology. Because, like I said, it's an admission that they were wrong. It has to go through a process of humility, being humble enough to see your wrong way, being humble enough to accept that you did wrong, being humble enough to want to make repairs. And that can leave you very vulnerable. But you see, the graceness of the person that is accepting the apology will determine whether the situation is resolved easily or is complicated. It takes courage to admit when you are wrong. It takes more courage to offer apologies for the wrong that you have accepted. And therefore, when somebody comes to you to apologize, don't look down upon them. Don't rub their faces in. Don't punish them more than is required. Some people need really punishing, don't get me wrong. But remember that for them to come to that point, there has been some inward looking, there has been some realization, there has been some sense of guilt, as it were. But instead of wallowing in that guilt, they have come up as a matured person to be humble enough to offer the apology. If you're in an argument with someone and they admit to be wrong, give them some latitude. Extend some grace to them, because it will cause the person to also come out or come off the sense of guilt that they're already feeling. In every relationship, no one likes to be hurt. No one likes to be disappointed. No one likes to feel the pain and the agony and the overwhelming feeling that I've done wrong towards my friend or my colleague or my boss or my spouse or children or parents. Because that feeling is a feeling of not just the fact that you've let them down, you've let yourself down. It's a feeling of rejection. It's a feeling of isolation. It's even a feeling of confusion sometimes. Because you're asking yourself, how could this have happened? How did I allow this to happen? But like I've said in the first week, part of being in a relationship is giving the other person the privilege, the opportunity, the license, the liberty to hurt you, to fail you, to disappoint you. Remember, every relationship is made up of human beings, and human beings are imperfect. So when somebody has hurt you, when somebody has offended you, when somebody has done something, yes, you feel hurt. Yes, you feel disappointed. Yes, you feel let down. But the next natural step is usually an apology, which is an admission of wrong or an acknowledgement of what they have done to you that has hurt you. But when it comes to apologizing, it can take the form of, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. People can say, oh, look, James, I realized what I did was wrong and I can't apologize enough for that. Some will just say, if I've hurt you, then I'm sorry. Those are the ones I don't agree with. Don't say if you've hurt me. You know you've hurt me. You know that what you've said, what you've done is wrong. So why do you want to qualify by, if I've hurt you? If you didn't hurt me, then if you don't think you've hurt me, then you're not apologizing. You are asking me to justify your action. So apologies can take the form of, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to hurt you. I realized what I did was wrong, and I'm sorry about that. Sometimes an apology can come in the form of an explanation, not a justification, an explanation. I'm sorry you feel that way. I was trying to make you understand what I was trying to say or the point I was trying to put across. I didn't mean it for it to hurt you that way. That is another way of apologizing. But sometimes people give fake, ingenuine, half-hearted apologies, and they expect you to receive it. They expect you to accept it. And those are some of the things we're going to be looking at tonight. But another area that I think it's important as we're looking at this issue of apologies and saying sorry and receiving it and accepting it is that we have, over the years, all of us, we've surrendered to a common phrase of receiving an apology, of accepting an apology, when in actual fact, when you look deep down into it, it doesn't really say that you receive it. It doesn't even say that you've accepted the apology. And that phrase is when somebody says to you, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. I didn't mean to hurt you. And you say, it's okay. When you say it's okay, what does that mean? It's okay to hurt me. It's okay to say what you've said. It's okay to do what you've done. It's okay for you to continue to do it. It's okay, I don't mind for you to do it. What does it mean? It's okay. How many times have you said those two words? Oh, it's okay. Oh, don't worry about it. Oh, don't mention it. For example, say your spouse. Your spouse says, oh, I'm sorry for not thinking through how my action will impact you. And all you said is, oh, Jimmy, it's okay. Maybe your co-worker, you've just come out of a staff meeting, and then your co-worker said, oh, Rachel, sorry, I apologize for being overly harsh and critical of your ideas in the staff meeting just now. And you respond, your response is, oh, it's okay. Or maybe your siblings were not there to support you, to support your parents when they were going through maybe a health challenge. And you pointed that out to them, and they said, oh, I'm sorry that I wasn't there. And you said, it's okay. Or maybe you just found out that your friend has published the secret you left with them on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all the other social platforms. and that has become an embarrassment for you, and now they've come to say, oh, I'm sorry, it was just it was an error, and you say it's okay. Now, it could be okay, but why is it that our default response to apology is these two words? It's okay. Because when you look deep into it, it's okay simply means that it's all right, don't worry about it, all is forgiven, I'm fine, you carry on, do what you do best, and all is well. Is that what you mean when you said it's okay? Is that the message you're trying to pass across to this other person when your response to their apology is, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it? It's okay is often, sometimes, a dismissive of the hurt and of the hurt that you are feeling. It minimizes the impact of what that person has done for you, to you. It overly simplifies the complexity of the hurt that you're feeling. So once you've said it's okay and the person is walked away, you don't have the right then to still go about thinking, oh, I don't know what they think, who they think. No, you've already said it's okay. Every time you said it's okay, when it's not okay, all you are doing is you are absorbing quite a lot of hurt and resentment about that person, about that situation, regarding that incident. Instead of you to work through it, you said it's okay, and you bottle up some of the resentment and the hurt that you're feeling. The danger with that is somewhere down the line, it's going to come back up. Because every time you bury an issue that is not resolved, you've just planted a seed. And every seed that is planted is going to grow up one day, and fruit will follow thereafter. Don't say it's okay when it's not okay. Does that make you a mean person and just stubborn? Maybe. But you see, the effect of you not being okay when you say you are okay is that it eats away the fabrics of that relationship. Every time you said it's okay when it's not okay, you have just loosened another knot from the bolt and knot that is holding the relationship together. Rather than saying it's okay, let's look at 3 ways you can respond when somebody offers an apology. Let's look at 3 other words or 3 other sentences or statements that you can make when somebody offers an apology. So somebody has done something and they've come to you and they said, oh, I'm so sorry that my action hurt you, and I'm deeply sorry, I didn't mean it that way, or whatever they say. Rather than saying, oh, it's okay, you could say something like, oh, thanks, Jim. I appreciate your apology. I appreciate your apology. What that does is it conveys to this person that is offering the apology a warmth feeling from you, a sense of gratitude from you, because you recognize that before this person apologizes, they have had an inward thought, they have processed it, and they have humbled themselves to come and offer this apology. So when you say, I appreciate your apology, you are demonstrating a level of consideration towards the person. You are helping that person to get over the sense of guilt that they're already feeling. When you say, I appreciate your apology, it captures the fact that you can see the person apologizing for who they are rather than what they've done. So instead of saying it's okay, you could say, if you really mean it, if you are sincere, if you've gotten over it, you could say, I appreciate your apology. The second response you could give is, I hear you. Now, I hear you is a qualified statement. And you must know when to use it and how to use it. When you say, I hear you, what you are saying, or what you should be saying, is that you are communicating to this other person that literally my eardrums are working and I can hear that you are giving an apology. I'll take it in. I'll process it. I'll work on it. Usually when you say, I hear you, it helps you to process, to determine, to conclude whether the apology is sincere or not. Rather than just, it's okay, when it's not. When you say, I hear you, it helps you to determine whether the apology is real and whether you want to engage further in the discussion. You want to work through this with the person. What you are saying in effect is, I've heard what you say, but give me time to process this. And there's nothing wrong in you saying, I hear you. The third way of responding to an apology, rather than saying, it's okay, is for you to say, I accept your apology. Remember, I said earlier on about the law of contract, whether there has to be an offer and an acceptance for the contract to be established. So when somebody offers you their apology and you are happy to receive it, to accept it, you can verbally say, hey, James, I accept your apology. You see, what that statement means is it's a further journey down the road. It's a higher step from the first, I appreciate your apology, or I hear you. When you say, I accept your apology, it moves beyond the recognition of the apology or the person giving the apology. It communicates a heartfelt reception, and that you are willing to integrate and work further with the person who is apologizing. It conveys the message that that's fine, that's behind me, let's move forward. When you say, I accept your apology. Now, am I saying using the two words, it's okay, is forever forbidden? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you have to know when to use it and how to use it because of the meaning that it carries. Also, you can use the two words, it's okay, when the impact of the offense or the incident is not really, there's no big deal about it. When it has not emotionally impacted you, you could say, it's okay. For instance, you're walking down the hallway in the office and you turn a corner and somebody bumped into you. You say, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it. You can say that. Or somebody say, oh, Lola, I said I would text you yesterday. I'm sorry, I forgot. I didn't text you. Yeah, it's okay. You can say to Lola, it's okay. But when it is not okay, don't say it's okay. When it comes to apologies and saying sorry and all of that, one of the most powerful tool or most powerful aspect of it is the issue of forgiveness. Is the issue of forgiveness. When you say, I accept your apology, you are saying, whatever it is you've done, whatever it is that has impaired on our relationship is behind us. I'm not thinking about it no more. It's not having any hurtful feelings on me or my emotions anymore. That is the point of forgiveness. Would you ever forget? Maybe not. But you see, the sting is taken away at the point of forgiveness. And what it does is it leaves the weight of guilt, of disappointment off the shoulders of the person that is giving the apology. It tells them that this relationship is back together and we are moving forward because we have established a point of reconciliation and we have administered some healing aspect or some healing medicine, and this relationship is now mended and is ready to go. Unfortunately, though, not every relationship is healthy. Not every relationship is the act of forgiveness the practical response. Because there are some relationships, like we looked at last week, there are some people, even though they're saying sorry to you, they're not sorry. They are manipulators. They are taking advantage of you. They will weaponize their apology in such a way as to excuse themselves from the sense of guilt that they feel for what they have done. And they will turn the table around on you and put the searchlight on you for you to feel that, for you to start feeling guilty because they have offended you. They are the offender. They are the one that has caused a break in the relationship. They are the one that has rubbed you rough on the wrong side. But instead for them to be humble enough to accept it, to apologize, to sincerely find a way to repair the damage, they say, I'm sorry, in a way that is manipulative, in a way that is not healthy, because their main goal, their main purpose is not the apology. Their main focus is to turn the table on you so that you start feeling sorry for them and you start feeling guilty for yourself. And it's important that you recognize the relationship that you're in. Is it a healthy one, or is it a poisonous one? Forgiveness is something that people ask for. People ask for forgiveness from somebody that they have done wrong to. Forgiveness is not demanded. Don't let anybody bully you into forgiving them. It is your prerogative. It is your right. It is up to you to come to a place and a point where you feel this person should be forgiven. So don't let anybody put a demand on you that you have to forgive me. Don't let them bully you into forgiving them. Don't let anybody manipulate you into forgiving them when you are not ready. It is for them to ask. It is for you to give. And it's up to you when to give it, how to give it, and where to give it, and the quantity or the quality of what you give. If somebody is not genuinely remorseful and they're asking for forgiveness, be careful. Be careful. You will notice this even in their body language, in the words they use, in how they carry it, in the way they present it. You will understand, are they being disrespectful, or have they really come to a point of understanding what the situation is? Do they seem like they care about you and what they have done, the harm, and they heard that they have caused you, do they is there anything about them that shows that they are really sorry? Or are they treating the situation with disinterest? Or they trying to just get one over you, putting some element of guilt on you for not wanting to forgive them? One of the challenges in relationships is people ask for forgiveness or people apologize, and there is the natural expectation, in some cases, natural demand that you should accept their apologies, that you should forgive them because they've asked for it. No, it's for them to ask. It's for you to give. And it's not a good idea for you to accept an apology when you are not ready. If you are still hurting, if you are still in pain, if you are still angry about the situation, that's not the time to say, I accept your apology, because you can't. You are not in a place to do that. When somebody apologizes to you and you really want the situation to be resolved, dead and buried, don't give it when you are not ready. Don't give it when it is not from your heart. Don't give it when it is not what you really want to do. Because all that will do is it's like burying your head in the sand, as they say. It will just quietly be festering underneath. It will quietly be growing. It will quietly be expanding. And before you know it, the cork will pop one day and everywhere will just be messed up, because you accepted and you give that forgiveness when you are not ready. And when it resurfaces, it will be worse than where it was at the beginning. So, how do you accept an apology, or how to accept an apology? Where should you be in yourself, in your head, in your emotions, in your feeling, in your psyche, in your body? Where should you be when you accept an apology? What are some of the things that you should consider? What are some of the process that you should take on board when somebody offers an apology or say they're sorry and you want to accept it? What are some of the things you must consider? Because if you don't do this process, if you don't follow it through, if you are not, if you don't help yourself to really be in a position where you can accept the apology, over time, the same situation will come up and the wound will be bigger than it was at the beginning. So, how to accept an apology? Number one, you must decide if you are ready, if you are really willing, committed to accepting that apology. You have to know. You have to decide. Am I ready? Am I willing? Am I committed? Am I in a position where I can put this behind me? You must decide if you are really ready to accept that apology. See, there are many ways and many degrees of disagreement and wrongdoings. Like I said, wherever there's a relationship made up of people, people are imperfect and we will cross each other. We will disappoint one another. We will anger and frustrate one another. That is part and parcel of every relationship. But you see, some offenses, just saying I'm sorry just doesn't cut the mustard with them. Maybe this person is a perpetual liar. And every time they lie, they say, I'm sorry. Every time they lie, they say, I'm sorry. Maybe this person is a perpetual latecomer. And every time they're late, they say, I'm sorry. Or maybe just this person, it's almost in their nature to do what they have done to you, or what they have been doing over and over and over and over to you. And then they come and say, I'm sorry. And you've observed them for a while to see that, yes, there is room for grace. There's a place for bearing with people. But this particular incident, this particular aspect, this particular issue is always there. Now, be careful that you are not secretly looking for signs rather than letting the thing play out. Be careful that you are not doing Big Brother, just looking for, it's gonna, yeah. Oh. No, don't do that. Let the incident play out. Also, maybe it's not an issue of it's a repetitive thing. Maybe this time the magnitude of the offense is bigger than it used to be. Maybe this particular incident is so bad that it has changed how you feel about them, maybe even forever. Maybe the apology is tendered just haphazardly, and the person that is offering the apology is not even taking full responsibility for their action. That should help you know that this is not an apology. So if you really can't accept an apology, don't pretend that you are ready to accept it. Don't pretend that you are willing to accept it. Don't pretend that it's okay for them to apologize, because all it will do is that they will continue to do the same thing, and you will continue to grow in resentment and anger and hurt and pain. You are not under any obligation to accept a lukewarm, insincere apology. You know when somebody is lying to you. You know when somebody is sincere. You know when somebody is truthfully in their heart and in their body dispensation, when they are truly sorry. You know. Because we must remember that an apology is a step towards repairing the damaged relationships. It's a process of making it right and bringing things back to a level that is workable for both of you. So you must decide whether you are ready or you really want to accept this apology. And if it's an apology you feel it's not, or rather if it's a relationship you think, no, I've had enough of this, just don't say you accept when you really don't want it. Let the relationship go. Another thing you must bear in mind when it comes to accepting an apology is you must understand your own vulnerability. You must understand your own vulnerability. Sometimes somebody apologizes to you, and the incident, it was a deep hurt. You feel terrible about it, and now they've apologized, and you just feel, okay, let's move on. But deep down on the inside of you, you are still harboring some resentment. But that resentment is now becoming like it's becoming a shadow of dread around you. It's making you feel vulnerable. It's making you feel that you are more exposed than you should be. So the issue now is not about the incident. The issue now is not about the apology. The issue is about how you are allowing the apology or the incident to make you vulnerable to fear rather than the situation at hand. So when somebody apologizes to you and the apology is genuine, the person apologizing is sincere, and you still find that you are struggling to accept the apology, check yourself. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of? What is really the issue here? Because at the end of the day, it might not have anything to do with the apology or the person offering it. It could be just you. And it is your vulnerability, is the fear that you've allowed to come over you that is stopping you from accepting the apology. Number 3, give yourself time. Just again, because somebody asks for it doesn't automatically mean you give it when you are not ready. When you are really upset about something, like we said, don't say, oh, don't worry about it. It's okay, no big deal. No, there is a big deal. Because when you say that, you minimize your feelings. You minimize how deep this thing hurts you. And feelings, they are like smoke. You can't cover them. Somewhere down the line, they will pop up. And the person will be saying, wait a minute, I thought we resolved that. I thought you said that was over. I thought you forgave me for that. Where is this coming from? So if you need time after somebody has apologized to you, just say you need more time to process it. Thank you for apologizing, but I need some time and space to work this through in my head. And if the person, if they truly respect you and value the relationship, they will give you the time. They will say, fine, take your time. I'll be here. I'll be ready. I'll be waiting. But if they insist that you must give the apology, you must accept the apology there and then, maybe that person is not good for you in a relationship. Maybe that person is one of those manipulators. And maybe it's time to cut them loose. You need to find it within you whether this relationship is worth fixing, or you just cut your losses and wave goodbye. How to accept an apology. Admit your part in the argument. It takes two to tango. Somewhere, somehow, irrespective of how innocent you think you are, you played a part. There is some element of you in the situation. In every discord and conflict, one person is usually completely a jerk. I mean, total, he was just good for nothing. This is all down to him. But you see, if you really dissect it and dig deep, you will find that there are some elements of the other party in the equation. So one of the things you can do in order to accept an apology is to admit that you too have some part that you played in the situation. Yes, you fought. Yes, they punched you. Yes, they did whatever it was they did to hurt you. Once they have come to offer their sincere apology, one of the things you must process, you must also come to terms with in accepting that apology, is that you too played a part in it. Unfortunately, this is where many relationships fall down, where one party thinks they are Mr. or Mrs. Perfect. It's all your fault. It's everything about you. It's you and you alone. That's the solution, the problem here. It takes two to tango. How to accept an apology. You could say, I accept your apology. like we've talked about. You see, I accept your apology is a formal way of responding because that's the way we've all been trained. Just like, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. It's just, it's a casual, it's something that we all default to. But you can do it, you can do a better work at it. You can say it better, you can respond better. You can say, I appreciate your apology, I'm still mad now, but give me time, I will eventually be fine. Or you could say, thank you for saying you're sorry. I was upset. I can't deny that. But I'm glad that you understand that what you said really hurt me. But now that we've said it, let's move on. Let's put that behind us. It helps the relationship better. Another thing you can do in order to accept an apology is to pave way for forgiveness. Pave way for forgiveness. You see, the person that has hurt you or the person that is at fault in this situation, definitely they have their work cut out for them. They've got some work to do in order to at least bring the two parties back to a point of discussion and then moving on from that. But you see, an apology with no follow-up action is as lame and useless as no apologies at all. Words are easy. Anybody can say, oh yeah, oh yeah, no, don't worry about it. Oh yeah, you trust me. But it is what they do afterwards. It is the action that follows that will let you know. But you see, part of them acting in a way that will help and resolve the issue is that you two must now give them the platform. Give them the opportunity. Give them the avenue to work at it. Don't somebody said if you live with a judge, you're always on trial. Don't be a judge. Don't just go about criticizing, condemning, complaining, nagging, worrying, and all of that. It's not going to help the person. Make the way for them. Create an avenue. Prepare a place. Set up an environment where, number one, they can be better. Number two, where the little effort they are making is seen and appreciated. Because when you appreciate the little, they will do more. And also, in every relationship with different people, our emotional tolerance level are different. And so sometimes what you think is a repeat of the last thing that we discussed, this person might not see it that way. To them, it might not be even a big issue. Does that mean they minimize your feelings? No. It just means you also have to give them the benefit of the doubt. Make a room for them to still be themselves. Don't force your friend or anybody you are in a relationship with just because they need to please you and make you feel good. Don't force on them to change and lose their own identity. Because if they do, you'll be the worse off for it. Oh, I don't know if this is helping anybody tonight. You see, I didn't know all of this before I started looking into this topic of apologizing and saying sorry and all of that. And I am just learning so much as we go deeper and deeper into this. I am seeing a lot of things that I never saw before. I didn't even know them before. And the truth is, every relationship that you are involved in It does not matter what the definition of that relationship is. In every relationship that you are involved in, there will be room, there will be avenue, there will be times when the two of you will cross, when there will be disagreement, when you will feel hurt, when they will upset you, when they will let you down, when they will disappoint you. But the natural flow, the natural step from that is the realization something is out of kilter here. Something has gone amiss in this relationship. And it is then natural for the person who has done the wrong to come to a point of realization that this is my fault. But more than that is the maturity, is the humility, is the tenderness of their heart to now come to you to say, I'm so sorry. I apologize profusely. Please find somewhere in your heart to forgive me because I have done you wrong. When that happens, when they come to that point, it is priceless. But be careful. There are some people, their apologies is not to you. They are using it as a tool, like we looked at last week, to manipulate you. But when it is genuine, when it's sincere, when it is heartfelt, when you can see from their disposition, from their body language, from the expression on their faces, on their face, from the way it is presented, you know. I mean, come on, we're not children no more. Even children, they know when you are not being truthful, when you are not being sincere, when what you are saying is just from your mouth, it's not from your heart. But when it comes out of the heart, imagine the shoe is in the other foot. How would you want them to treat you? How do you think, how would you feel if you apologize to your friend and they just throw it back at your face and they just tell you on your bike, not even giving you the benefit of the doubt that this is not the norm, this is a blip of the system, this is just a one-off thing, this is not who you are. And that is why it is important in every relationship that you are involved in. Don't get carried away by the razzmatazz of the environment. Get to know the person as a person. Work on your personal relationship with the person. Get to know them for who they are. Because when all else fails, when every lights are off and the cameras are down, the crowd is gone and the chips are down, the only thing that will establish, that will strengthen and uphold your relationship is the knowledge of the person that you know. That is why some of your friends, somebody will come to you and say, Tunde, guess what? This is what Jamie said about you. This is what Ted was telling me the other day about this and that. And you can look that person straight in the eyes and say, I don't believe you. What do you mean you don't believe? I'm telling you. I know him. I know him. So the question is, how much do you know of this person in your relationship, that you're in a relationship with? Because that knowledge is what will uphold you, is what will help you, is what will guide you when it is time for the two of you to see face to face and resolve an issue. Because there is no relationship without issues. Every one of us, every relationship you are in, that you are involved in, there will be issues. But what will keep you going, what will hold you up, what will strengthen you, what will preserve that relationship is the knowledge of the person that you are involved with. So, as I close tonight, offense will come. Oh, shoot, no. It will come. Every day, every time, all the time. I said earlier on, when you are in a relationship with somebody, you have given them the license, the opportunity, the privilege, the honor of offending you, of disappointing you, of letting you down, of coming short of your expectations. The question is, what do you do with that? How do you handle that? Where do you take that to? But if your relationship is shallow and has no root and no strength, it will fall flat like pancake, because you don't know who you are in a relationship with. So, apologies, they are like lubricating oil that keeps the engine of relationship moving even when there seems to be conflict. But when you offer an apology, remember, it is the onus is on the other person that you are offering the apologies to accept it, when to accept it, how to accept it, or not to accept it. Apology is not demanded, it is asked for. You can't bully somebody to accept your apologies. That's manipulation. When you offer your apologies, when it is sincere, the other party can see it, and they can make a decision whether to accept it or not. And if they need time to process it, if you value that relationship, if you are committed to that relationship, you will give them the space, you will give them the time. Because what is worse than them accepting your apologies is for them to accept it when they're not ready. It will just be festering and be brewing and be breathing and be growing, and then one day the lid will pop and everybody will be affected. Who have you offended? Who have you offended? Who is that person in your life today? Your friend, your children, your parents, your spouse, your colleagues, your boss, your pastor, your community, your neighbor. Who is that person? In your heart of hearts, you know. Do your part. Offer the apologies. Do your part. Ask for their forgiveness. Do that which only you can do. Say you're sorry. And let them do their part. And I can assure you, things will work out better for both of you. Thank you so much for tonight. It's been one of those nights when we have to really talk one to another from our heart. Forget about the notes. It's just from the heart. And I hope you've heard something, you've learned something tonight that will help you. Please do share this program tonight. And I'll see you again next week when we'll be looking at the other aspect, which is when not to accept an apology. I know some of you Christians, you're already shouting to say, oh, that's ungodly. No, we will go into the practicalities of things, and then you will understand what I mean by saying when an apology should not be accepted. I'll see you again next week. God bless. Bye-bye.